Hi, everybody. My name is Lee McQueen, and today's discussion is A Tale of Three Women. 2016 seems to be the year of the woman for various reasons. Specifically, women's issues have come to the forefront of campaign discussion this year. We've got one woman who is in the race for the presidency as the head of the Democrat Party. And then we've got another woman who is in the race for the presidency who is head of the Green Party. We've also got Donald Trump, who is the head of the Republican Party, and then Bernie Sanders, who is running for the president as the head of the Democrat Party. So, a vast array of intriguing elements in the 2016 race for president. But back to the women. All three, Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton, and Jill Stein, are white upper middle class women of a certain age. At least at one point, they were upper middle class. Hillary Clinton, I believe, is a millionaire, but all of them are intelligent. They've all achieved higher education at the graduate level and beyond. One has doctoral status and is a professor or used to be a professor. And then two of them have specialized and gone into medical. One of them has gone into medical school and is a practicing um, is a medical practitioner. And then one has a law degree and has been a lawyer in the past. So while they have similar demographics, where they diverge is in thought and philosophy. Elizabeth Warren is a progressive for the Democrat Party. Hillary Clinton is a right-leaning centrist of the Democrat Party. And then Jill Stein is a progressive with the Green Party. Two of those women are presidential candidates this year. Hillary Clinton's running for the Democrat Party, and then Jill Stein is running for president with the Green Party. Elizabeth Warren is not on the ballot, though she should be. That's gonna be discussed a little bit more. Matter of fact. One of these women is under criminal investigation by the FBI on not one, but two fronts. The performance at the State Department, mishandling of information, rule breaking, possible law breaking. And then also, the Clinton Foundation is under investigation. So one is under criminal investigation, and then two of the women are not under criminal investigation. One woman has consistently used bad, idiotic judgment proven by past voting records and lobbying efforts on the wrong side of history for decades. And then two of those women do not have that type of record. One woman is an avatar for Wall Street. She is an empty shell for which corporations are able to rent space and use her for their own purposes. Two are not. One woman was brought by her husband to the political stage. She married in to one of her positions and then reaped the benefit of her husband's connections, political influence, and ability to fundraise. And then two of those women brought themselves to the political stage. One of those women is center right in thought and deed, and then two are progressive in thought and deed. One of those women is considered establishment, insider, and pro Wall Street, pro corporation. And then two of those women are more progressive and actually prefer to keep politics and Wall Street separated. One has a severe personality disorder and is possibly borderline sociopathic, and not narcissistic, but actually sociopathic. Two of those women are normal and can form healthy relationships in their personal lives, with their work colleagues, and with the electorate. And then one of those women alienates everyone around her at some point or another, unless she has a use for them. One of those women wants to bring a man who in the past was accused of rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and who has apparently taken trips on what is called the Lolita Express. One woman wants to bring that man with that background of treating women in that way back into a position of power at the White House, because this woman needs his help with the economy since she is incapable of forming her own economic policy. She needs the assistance of her husband. Two of these women have the capability of articulating their own economic policy and their own plans for how to move economic policy forward so it benefits everyone and not just corporations. Two women can do that, and then one has to depend on her husband or on Wall Street for assistance with that. So Hillary Clinton is known, her voting record is known, her lobbying efforts are known, her corruption is known, her integrity, such as it is known. Her philosophical leanings are known. Her lack of courage is known. She is a known factor. However, now that the FBI is involved, we may learn more. And since it is the FBI who is involved, I'm thinking that the more that we will learn about Hillary Clinton will not be beneficial to her public persona. I can't say that for sure, but indications are that if we are to learn anything more about Hillary Clinton, it will not be good. Okay, so rather than spend more time on Hillary Clinton, since she is known, and then I've also made previous videos about her, which anyone can find on my channel. I'm going to look more at Jill Stein and Elizabeth Warren. Jill Stein is the head of the Green Party. She actually ran for office several times as a Green, and sometimes Green Rainbow. She has run for Massachusetts governor in 2002. She lost. She ran for House in 2004 and lost. She ran for Secretary of the Commonwealth in 2006. She performed well in that race, but she lost. However, she did win elected office for the town of Lexington, the town meeting. And that was in 2005. And then she ran again in 2008, and she won again. She ran for governor of Massachusetts in 2010 and lost. She ran for president in 2012 and lost as a Green. However, when she ran, she was able to do some fundraising and then raise enough money for the Green Party to qualify for matching funds, which was also what Ralph Nader was able to accomplish when he ran. So there was more funding because of Jill's entry into the Green Party. She is running for president in 2016. To know Jill Stein's platform is to look at Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He is the one who enacted the Green New Deal to put North Americans back to work again after severe economic hardship from the Great Depression. He jump-started the economy with jobs. The government created jobs, fixing, repairing, and greatly expanding our infrastructure here in North America. Road building, bridge building, communication structures, expansion of utilities, things like that, waterways. That was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And Jill Stein wants to try that approach again, the Green New Deal, which has been in the conversation in terms of using existing trained workforce, retraining them in order to update to renewable energy rather than fossil fuel structures, such as building solar panel farms, wind farms, using existing skill sets to build more biomass, biodiesel type of plants, ways of using renewable energy to replace fossil fuels. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. About 5 years ago, I created a video discussing the Green New Deal and how I do believe that it was the future for blue collar workers and for moving America forward with a new type of economy that does not depend on endangering the health of North Americans, polluting our drinking water supplies, such as with fracking, which Hillary Clinton supports, and also with endangering our air and endangering our troops when we have to send them overseas to monitor our fossil fuel interest in the Middle East. So the Green New Deal is a type of solution that many consider a win-win, except possibly the fossil fuel energy would not consider that a win-win, which is explains a lot of the resistance to that idea now. And the fact that Hillary Clinton has accepted campaign donations from the fossil fuel industry indicates that she's probably useless on moving this policy forward. But this is Jill Stein's central platform. According to her, we as the electorate should reject the lesser evil for the greater good. Jill Stein, I would say, is 90% aligned with Bernie Sanders' platform. That extra 10% is possibly Jill Stein being slightly more to the left of Bernie Sanders on some issues. I would say that Elizabeth Warren, and I'm going to discuss her very soon, is probably about 98% align with Bernie Sanders' platform. And so there's more agreement between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. So if you know Bernie Sanders' platform, then you know 90% of Jill Stein's platform, and you know Elizabeth Warren's 98% of Elizabeth Warren's platform. Okay, so Jill Stein, again, is slightly to the left of Bernie Sanders, and I'll use one example to show how that might play out. In terms of student loans, Jill Stein is for forgiving all student debt the same way that the big banks, who were deemed too big to fail, were forgiven, and not only forgiven but bailed out of their economic mishandling of their wealth and the wealth of others. She says that if we can bail out the banks, then we can bail out the students and totally forgive student debt, start out at zero, and move forward, and have more affordable college costs, and in fact, make college costs universal and free, like some healthcare is free, like libraries are free, like roads are free, like police and fire. She considers education a public good, and not just public school, primary, middle school, or high school education, but that higher education is a public good and should be free. Bernie Sanders is slightly more measured in his approach. And like Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders is for not totally forgiving student debt, but rather reducing the interest rate and refinancing that student debt. And then from here forward, making college costs either free or affordable, and so reducing the college costs. So that would be the difference. The both platforms, I would say, are considered progressive. It's just one is slightly more progressive. Jill Stein is slightly more progressive than Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. But it's an interesting contrast. Definitely, it's an interesting contrast to Hillary Clinton in terms of issues and platform. While Jill Stein is definitely against Wall Street saturation of political decision making, Hillary Clinton is for that. Whereas Jill Stein is focused on the environment and protecting the environment as a green, as most Greens are. Hillary Clinton is more flexible. For instance, she supports fracking, which is actually very harmful to the environment. Also, in terms of social justice, the Green Party and Jill Stein is for criminal justice reform. She's against mass incarceration, and then rampant use of our military and even our National Guard for overseas adventuring, and irresponsible overseas adventuring. And so it's a question of judgment, which side of history that each candidate has shown themselves to be on. So we know Hillary Clinton. We're getting to know Jill Stein as her name continues to be mentioned more and more as the Democrat nomination contest draws to an end. Jill Stein's name has come up. And I think that's because the Democrat Party has thrown its full weight behind a flawed candidate. that flawed candidate being Hillary Clinton. Um, just her lobbying efforts for NAFTA, the very worst economic policy that she sold to Washington, D.C. decision makers and to the American public as the solution to everything. It was the worst thing that has happened to the working class, the blue collar class before, um, and the lower class in recent history. Her Hillary Clinton's judgment on the Welfare Act, which further decimated the ability for poor people to pull themselves out of poverty. The crime bill, which targeted poor people, and not only in the African American and Latino urban areas of North America, but also the poor in white people in areas in the rural regions of the central part of the U.S., such as Appalachia, Missouri, Iowa. There's severe drug issues in these areas that have been harshly penalized with under the crime bill. And then also on tribal lands, as we've discovered via Bernie Sanders, there's been severe hardship as a result of the crime bill. So it's had a very harsh effect, and that particular aspect of Hillary Clinton's judgment should not be celebrated. It's horrific. Her vote for the Iraq War, her vote for the Patriot Act, her vote for the Patriot Act 2.0, where she repeated her poor judgment, the bankruptcy law, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, her support for fracking, her unwillingness to support a $15 minimum wage until people just went forward without her. She set 12 when everyone else set 15, and then she had to be dragged up into the discussion, and then she dared to take credit. So again, primarily her judgment, but also character issues. And it goes on, but mostly it's Hillary Clinton's need for corporate fundraising, her dependence on that to support her entry into the political arena, her willingness to do the bidding of Wall Street rather than the bidding of the people who put her into office. I mean, even just accepting campaign donations from the corporate prison industry, because slavery has actually not been eradicated in the United States. North America still has slavery because if you read the 13th Amendment, slavery of criminals is still legal. Who is in our jails, in our prisons? Who are still slaves in North America? And then on top of that, who is making money off criminals who are enslaved in North America? Well, it used to be Hillary Clinton. She accepted money from the corporate private prison industry until she had to be embarrassed and shamed into relinquishing that. Judgment and character. But anyway, so we know how Jill Stein contrasts to Hillary Clinton. We can look a little bit more closely and see how Elizabeth Warren contrasts to Hillary Clinton. Elizabeth Warren, unlike Jill Stein, actually has been elected to state office. She is the senior senator from Massachusetts. She has introduced legislation. She has proven herself very capable on economic policy, and she has actually proven that in various ways. The most recent being her television appearances, where she's been able to debate, and not only debate, but justify her view as a progressive on economic policy. She's highly respected for that, Elizabeth Warren is. And anyone who would challenge Elizabeth Warren on economic policy, I would say, is making a serious mistake, because she is diamond sharp, and she can slice through any type of BS like a knife through butter when it comes to economics. You have to definitely have done your homework in order to debate her on those issues. Again, Elizabeth Warren, her view of the political issues of today line up nearly 98%, nearly identical to Bernie Sanders. In terms of jobs, she also has noted that we need to focus more of our resources on creating jobs, and has noted how other countries have spent more on job creation than North America. On trade, she has criticized the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama championed. And I'm mentioning that because even though Hillary Clinton has taken the view that disagreeing or taking a different direction is almost like insulting our president, I disagree, and I think progressives disagree on that too. I think the progressive view is to go further than Barack Obama. So we don't want to remain the same. We don't want the politics of yesterday. We do not want the politics of necessarily Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. We want to move our country forward. We don't want the politics of the past. We want to be better than what we were. We want to move forward into the future. We do not want to move to the past. We don't want to stand still. And so that is the progressive view. And I would say it's the view of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. They want to move the country forward. And so does Jill Stein. On taxes, Elizabeth Warren is for more equitable distribution of taxes, and she supports the Buffett rule. And that would restore the Clinton tax rates on the top income bracket. On energy and the environment, she's also definitely interested in renewables, and she's anti-fracking. And then she's also wanting to move away from dependence on fossil fuels as it affects our foreign policy. Speaking of foreign policy, Elizabeth Warren wants a more measured approach to use of our troops overseas, rather than sending them out willy-nilly, guns a-blazing, only to come home with a high cost of war having taken a toll on our troops. Hillary Clinton is a warmonger. She is a war hawk. She has taken at any time, any place, anyone, for any reason, approach to our foreign policy, which is reckless and idiotic and trigger happy, as Donald Trump has described. Donald Trump is actually to the left of Hillary Clinton on foreign policy in terms of use of our troops, and then even trade. His views on trade and military excursions overseas is more in line with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Hillary Clinton is alone. She's the only idiot that's wanting to send our troops out anytime, any place, anyone, for any reason. And like Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein, Elizabeth Warren wants a more measured and equal approach to Israel and defense spending. Elizabeth Warren also wants money out of politics. She is opposed to Citizens United and the Federal Election Commission, and so is Bernie Sanders. She's definitely for enhanced consumer protection and TARP oversight, and she wants to reintroduce the Glass-Steagall Act. So on social issues, Elizabeth Warren, Jill Stein, and Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are more closely aligned as it relates to a woman's right to abortion, LGBT rights, the DREAM Act, and gun laws. Hillary Clinton they're all liberal on those policies, although Hillary Clinton had to be nudged in certain directions. And I'm saying that because a leader leads from the front, not from the back. A leader leads others. She doesn't drag kicking and screaming to where people already are. That's not a leader, that's a little girl. On healthcare, Elizabeth Warren is also, not surprisingly, aligned with Bernie Sanders. She feels that a solution to our woes would be the universal single-payer healthcare system. And so I've already discussed her views on the student loans and how that also lines up with Bernie Sanders, while Jill Stein is slightly on the left of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. So back to these three women. I wanted to compare them because it's ludicrous to look at Hillary Clinton as the savior for all women. There are women on the political stage today who are equal or even greater politicians than she is. Jill Stein and Elizabeth Warren are the true progressives from a leadership point of view today. Hillary Clinton is not a progressive. She is not a liberal. She is center and she is right, leaning more towards the moderate Republican point of view rather than the progressive point of view. So if you are a progressive, why would you vote for someone who is pro-war, pro-money in politics, and has shown herself to be hostile towards progressive points of view until a vast majority overtook her and shoved her in the right direction? There are women today who have the character and integrity and the backbone to actually articulate a point of view, stand up for what is right, stand up for their record, and then follow through with that. And I say that even though the truth is, Jill Stein, her record in terms of governance and legislation actually is less than Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton. For that reason, even though Jill Stein is right in her judgment and very clear on her judgment, and the Green Party platform is a worldwide phenomenon and not unusual in other countries, but kind of an outlier here in North America. Jill Stein's judgment is sound. It's just her electoral and legislative experience is less than that of Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. I would say that in terms of judgment, Elizabeth Warren is very capable. Her past record, her voting record, her media statements, her legislation, her even experience that she had prior to entering the political arena all indicate that her judgment is sound as well. And she has the experience to back up her judgment. She's definitely qualified. Hillary Clinton has some experience. Quite a bit of her experience is what her husband has told her, has given her, has shown her. Hillary was brought. She didn't create herself. She was created, and she's taken advantage of her husband's administration. Much in the same way she has taken advantage of her association with Barack Obama's administration. Much in the same way she has taken advantage of Bernie Sanders' superior judgment and appeared to adopt his platform in order to sell herself to the electorate during the primary race. So, I would say that Hillary Clinton's judgment is not sound. Her character and her integrity are not sound. Her intelligence is sound, but her qualifications, I would say, are not sound. And I say qualifications because knowing how to judge a vote, judge which policies to support, and judge which aspects of American electoral policies need to be moved forward. These are all judgments, and these are all qualifications. Building a coalition, communicating your point of view, inspiring people to follow your leadership. These are all qualifications. If you are not able to do this, you are not qualified to be the president of the United States. And this is the concern with Hillary Clinton. Of Jill Stein and Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren, I would say that probably Elizabeth Warren is the best of all three points of view. That America would be safe, and then also progressive moving forward, leaving the politics of what happened in the past behind, recalibrating to a new direction. I think Elizabeth Warren, of all three women, is the one woman who is capable of doing that effectively. Unfortunately, of those three women, it is Elizabeth Warren who is not on any presidential ballot. And we can wonder why. We can also speculate the reason why is possibly because Hillary Clinton was the woman chosen to be on the Democrat ballot. How this all plays out within, as it relates to the Democrat nomination, which is still ongoing as the race moves to California and closer to the end, Bernie Sanders is behind Hillary Clinton in terms of the number of votes and delegates. And I've created previous videos discussing how that occurred and Hillary's malfeasance and insidious doings behind the scenes having had something to do with that. Still and yet, Bernie Sanders is still in the race, and he's still inspiring large crowds. He's rallying to his point of view, rallying to listen as he communicates his point of view. He is inspiring a tailwind of like-minded politicians to move into office. So that unique qualification of being able to lead and inspire people to follow you, Bernie Sanders has. And I do believe that Elizabeth Warren has that too, although she is not in the race. Now, if Hillary Clinton, her criminal investigation does not go the way she hopes, but rather in the way we hope, Hillary Clinton may be forced to voluntarily resign from her run for the presidency, from the nomination. But we don't know. We don't know how it's going to fall out. Two things may happen if Hillary Clinton is forced to leave the race. Bernie Sanders becomes the Democrat nominee. I personally am pro Sanders. I am Bernie or bust. I will vote for Bernie as a Democrat nominee. If he is not the nominee, then it's likely that my vote will go to Jill Stein of the Green Party. And I feel that a lot of people who are on Bernie's team or supporters of Bernie feel the same way. If he is denied the nomination, then their votes will go to support the Green Party, which will become the direct beneficiary of incompetence, mishandling of the presidential nomination under Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It's possible that Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz will be directly responsible for the weakening of the Democrat Party and the rise of the Green Party. That's where things seem to be headed. Unless something else happens, once Hillary Clinton steps down, it is possible that Elizabeth Warren will be inserted into the race, possibly as a candidate for Bernie Sanders vice president. If she's Bernie Sanders vice president, that will be a hard ticket to beat. And then the Democrat Party will save itself from obliteration, and then the Green Party might either be at the same level or who knows. But that might be one way the Democrat Party can save itself. However, it's possible that they will actually choose to insert Elizabeth Warren into Hillary Clinton's spot, putting her ahead of Bernie Sanders. Possibly Bernie Sanders becomes Elizabeth Warren's VP. Again, that's a hard ticket to beat. So again, the Democrat Party will save itself from fading away in history. The last time we had such a sea change in terms of drastic political party upset, I believe it's when the Republican Party rose under Abraham Lincoln and freed the slaves. This is where we are in North America. We're at a sea change where something has to happen. Either the Democrat Party will recalibrate to a progressive or future thinking mindset, or it will continue on its center-right trajectory and then die. And then the Green Party will rise in its place. So that is a tale of three women and how they are affecting the 2016 primary race. Fascinating.